So what are some benefits people can expect from hiring a health counselor?
The benefits can be, first and most importantly, is to have somebody who really listens. Deep listening. I've said this a couple of times, but I can't emphasize that enough. Because within the deep listening, the nuggets come out, and the nuggets are valuable little pieces of information that they don't even know exists. So when you're listening and giving the, oh, I see, moments, the little nuggets that are being unfolded suddenly become bigger issues that have the opportunity for them to process those issues and come up with solutions. So I hold the space for them to go through their own processing. And now I forgot the question.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I forgot what the question was.
Oh, the question was benefits.
The benefit. So the benefits is not only have somebody who deeply listens, because oftentimes we don't have that. We'll have a girlfriend that will maybe sit there and listen, and then we'll give her own opinion. You should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, get rid of him, end that marriage, get rid of your son. Whatever it is, it's not always very supportive versus a counselor who will actually listen and help the process, which is really what we want to do. As health counselors, we want to be able to send the people, our clients, into their field of life and say, now go live it, because you have the problem-solving tools inside of you, but oftentimes they don't know that. So the deep listening allows that truth of self-examination and self-realization to come forward and to really help them in their problem-solving techniques. Sometimes that's only through listening, and sometimes it's their own quiet meditation or spiritual practice that is also very much part of a health counseling program.
So how would you describe a typical program?
My typical program always starts off with a food sample. Typically, clients come to my house and we work on the telephone. If it's a telephone session, I will be sending them foods to try. And then we will gather and have a discussion starting with the food. So it will start around the green, leafy vegetables and the fruits and vegetables of the seasons. So I'll start aligning people with eating locally and eating foods that really support who they are in their life at that moment. With the green vegetables, we'll talk about the winter vegetables, the fall vegetables. So we'll transition from the hardier green vegetables for the winter, the collards, and we'll transition into the fall season, so we'll the root vegetables, the sweet vegetables, the yams and the sweet potatoes, to the brilliant new green of the spring, which is such an enlivening time of the season and of the year, because it's rebirth. And we all have a chance to do whatever we need to do, try it again. So those bright, brilliant greens, the watercress and the sprouts and the new greens are just supporting that aspect of the new birth. So it will start with food, and then it will typically go into listening to what their particular health concern is. Oftentimes it's sleep. So we'll develop a partnership, how to develop a rhythm around sleep. Actually closing down the body early enough, starting around 8 o'clock, and listening to the time of the season. Again, it's around the season, so if it's the winter time, it often calls for us to go to bed a little bit earlier than the summertime. Start closing down our life around 8 o'clock at night in the winter time. The computer is off, the television is off, and to consider taking a warm bath or reading something that's not politically like crazy, or news related, but something that's comforting. Maybe doing a little journaling, having a cup of warm tea, and again, shutting down the body to get into a nice, long, restful sleep. So it's the focusing on the health concerns, whatever it may be, and each time a client comes to me, they will then have 1 to 2 self-directed recommendations that they will work on between the 2 weeks that we see each other. Whether or not it's simply by drinking more water or incorporating 1 or 2 meals of home-cooked cooking for those meals. And then we'll check in to see what's working, what isn't working, if they weren't able to do that, to talk about the reasons why, and then to figure out, well, what's the next step? How do we peel away the onion skin of the reason that you had resistance around that? Again, these are self-directed recommendations that come from the client. So then when there is resistance, then we talk about the resistance. And then that peels away another layer of skin.
So what do you find most rewarding about being a health counselor?
I love to listen to people's stories. I love stories, and everyone has a story. So I can't, it's thrilling, absolutely thrilling for me. And then the shifts, the quiet, gentle shifts that happen over a 6-month period when I'm working with my clients. Whether or not it's as simple as them journaling every night to starting a new career, a new love life, a new level of energy that they're embracing the yeses no more than the nos. So a more positive attitude, whether or not it's an exercise program that they're embracing. Again, finding things that work for people, for my clients. I don't tell my clients to go to the gym and pump iron and do aerobic exercise, when in fact the reality may be that people need to walk outside or do belly dancing classes or swimming. So it's finding, again, their little level of happiness that will bring that into their life, and they could do it on a regular and reliable basis. Also helping clients to let go of unsupportive relationships. It's a big, big issue. There are sometimes many negative forces out there within our pool of friends that don't really support us going forward and getting out of the little me into the bigger me. And watching that unfold is a beautiful thing. It's like the little caterpillar struggling its way out of the cocoon and opening its wings and flying. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
So what advice do you have for people out there who are just now hearing about health counselors and that this even exists?
My advice would be to take full advantage of what's being offered in the health counseling world, and that is a consultation. Whether or not it's a minimum charge or a free consultation, I would interview health counselors. I would do the same thing with doctors. When you start interviewing people because you want to hire them as far as in a self-supporting aspect or an advocate of some sort, we have the right to interview. We have a right to make a decision. So interview your client, your health counselor, sit with them. See if you're really relating, if you're finding yourself leaning into them, if your heart is starting to open, if tears are welling up because finally you found somebody who cares or listens. That's the advice that I would give. And do the same thing with your doctors. If they don't have time, move on and don't worry about that. Health counseling is an incredible aspect of a bigger picture of living because it is around the whole person. And oftentimes in the medical world, we don't deal with the whole person. We deal with a slice of allergies, or a slice of low fatigue, or a slice of hyper or hypothyroidism. And we're not looking at the whole person. So interviewing is very, very important.
Well, I want to thank you today for spending this time with us to share with us your experience, your knowledge, things that you love and that you're passionate about. But before we go, I would like to create a little space to allow you to share anything else that that you would like people to hear.
This is what I live by. Food is medicine. We forget that. Every time we make a choice to open our mouth and put something in it, we're making a choice about what we're eating. And every time we make that choice, we have to understand and honor that choice. So food is medicine. Food is nourishment. It really nourishes and sustains us, and nourishment sustains us. That is how I go forward in life. That's how I personally live my life. And that's what I'd like to bring to my clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma.